It started as a desperate search for a missing girl, 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery, who vanished without a trace. What seemed like a heartbreaking case of a missing child soon spiraled into a 5-year-long pursuit that would unravel a story more terrifying than anyone could have imagined.
His first day on trial for the second-degree murder of 5-year-old daughter Harmony.
It all began when authorities started looking for Harmony, digging into every corner of her father's life. But what they uncovered wasn't just the tale of a missing child. It was something much darker, a secret so horrifying that it sent chills down the spines of even the most seasoned officers. Stay with us as we dive into the harrowing discovery that no one saw coming. A discovery that turned a simple search into a sinister revelation. Challenging life. Let's go back to the beginning of Harmony Montgomery's story. She was born on June 7, 2014, and was the offspring of Adam Montgomery and Crystal Sorey. Their time together was short, and soon enough, Crystal discovered she was expecting Harmony. When Harmony was born, Adam was already in prison, so Crystal had to raise their baby by herself. Harmony's life would face challenges from the very beginning. Since infancy, Harmony encountered difficulties. Twice she was given the wrong diagnosis before it was found out that she was actually blind in her right eye. However, the challenges did not stop there. Only 3 months after being born, Crystal was unable to retain custody of Harmony as a result of her continued battle with addiction and neglect. The government intervened, acknowledging the necessity of ensuring Harmony's safety in a different setting. Harmony's life took a significant turn when she was placed with her foster parents, Tim and Michelle Raftery. This period marked a rare moment of stability and love in Harmony's otherwise tumultuous life. The Rafterys welcomed her into their home, treating her as one of their own children. Despite her challenges, Harmony thrived in their care. Michelle Raftery, who worked as a behavioral health partner and had years of experience as a foster parent, recalls the moment they first received the call about Harmony. At just 2 months old, Harmony had an intimidating diagnosis that could have deterred many, but the Rafterys didn't hesitate. They knew they wanted to bring her into their home. Harmony's time with the Rafterys was brief but impactful. Over the years, she was placed in their care multiple times, each stay marked by a deep bond and affection. Michelle fondly remembers how Harmony called her Mama, and for a while it seemed like the little girl had found a place where she truly belonged. However, as much as the Rafterys cherished Harmony, her time with them was only temporary. Harmony moved between her biological mother and foster care 3 times, each transition adding another layer of instability to her young life. The longest stretch she spent with the Rafterys was a little over 2.5 years, during which she experienced some of the happiest moments of her life. But this period of relative peace was only a brief respite in what would become a much darker and more tragic story: unexpected visits. In September 2015, Harmony was living in a foster home while her father, Adam Montgomery, was released from prison. After getting out, Adam visited Harmony regularly for several months. Then, without warning, he suddenly stopped coming. Around this time, the Department of Children, Youth, and Families decided that Harmony's mother, Crystal, was fit to regain full custody. So from March 2017 to January 2018, Harmony lived with her mother. However, in January 2018, Crystal lost custody again, and Harmony was placed back in the care of Michelle Rafter. Then, in August 2018, Adam began visiting Harmony once more. After careful evaluation, the Department of Children, Youth, and Families decided that Adam was suitable to gain full custody of Harmony. Unfortunately, Crystal's struggle with substance abuse prevented her from being reunited with her daughter. Although Adam seemed like a loving father during his visits, his past was filled with abuse, addiction, and time in prison. This raises a troubling question. How did someone with such a history end up with custody of a 4-year-old? Adam's past. Adam's troubles started almost from the moment he was born. Raised by teen parents who couldn't take care of him, he ended up in the custody of his paternal grandparents. But tragedy struck early when his grandfather passed away, leaving Adam to be raised by his grandmother in New Hampshire. As he grew older, things took a dark turn. By the time Adam was 17, he had become a real problem in his neighborhood. He threatened a neighbor and even assaulted his own grandmother. His behavior was getting worse, and soon he found himself in deeper trouble. Later that year, Adam and his uncle, Kevin Montgomery, were caught in a McDonald's restroom with heroin and a knife. This incident marked the start of a downward spiral that seemed endless. Adam's life continued on this destructive path, and in 2014, his uncle Kevin got into serious legal trouble during a drug deal gone wrong. In the chaos, Kevin left a gunshot victim behind, leading to his arrest and time in prison. By the time Kevin was released, Adam was already living with his wife Kayla and their 2 sons in a house in New Hampshire. This was the backdrop to Adam's life, a history filled with delinquency, drug abuse, and violence. So it shocked everyone when Adam somehow gained custody of young Harmony. But those who knew him feared the worst. It seemed like only a matter of time before his dangerous behavior would resurface, with unimaginable consequences. Lost contact. In July 2019, a call to the Department of Children and Families, DCYF, sent shockwaves through the system. The caller was Kevin Montgomery, and what he revealed was chilling. He reported that his niece, Harmony, was being abused. When asked to describe what he saw, Kevin recounted the horrifying sight. Despite the seriousness of the situation, the DCYF visit to the Montgomery home that same day didn't result in any immediate action. Officials reported that all 3 children seemed fine, and the investigation was closed. Kevin, deeply disturbed by what he had seen, couldn't let it go. He reached out to family and friends, trying to get help for Harmony, but his concerns were largely ignored. The last time Kevin saw Harmony was later in 2019. Although Adam apologized for the incident and things seemed to be improving, this was the final time Kevin would see his niece. After Adam was evicted from his home, the family began moving frequently. During this time, Child Protection Services made another visit to the Montgomery home. They observed red marks around Harmony's eyes, which might have been signs of old bruises. Despite this, no further action was taken. As the months went by, Harmony's biological mother, Crystal, lost all contact with her daughter. In 2020, her attempts to reach out were blocked. Adam and his partner Kayla had cut her off on social media, shutting down any way to communicate. Despite Crystal's persistent efforts to reconnect with Harmony, she received no response. Throughout 2019, the DCYF and CPS continued their visits but failed to take action, even when there were obvious red flags. Although they were aware of Adam's history with drug abuse, the children seemed healthy and happy, so no intervention occurred. The red marks on Harmony's eyes should have been a clear warning sign, but as time went on, it became clear that the worst was still to come. Adam is arrested. In January 2021, Child Protective Services, CPS, received a call raising concerns about the safety of one of the Montgomery children. When CPS visited the Montgomery home, everything appeared normal except for Harmony's absence. Adam, Harmony's father, said he last saw her on Thanksgiving 2019 and claimed she was living with Crystal in Massachusetts. Kayla, Adam's wife, supported this story. However, Crystal was unaware of Harmony's whereabouts. By December 2021, the search for Harmony was in full swing. Crystal kept in touch with the Manchester police as the search continued. On December 31, 2021, Manchester police found Adam with his new girlfriend, Kelsey Small, in a car. The police questioned Adam about Harmony's location. Adam was told that detectives would be coming to speak with him. He asked for a cigarette and seemed reluctant to talk. The officers informed him he was being detained, but not arrested, and pressured him to reveal Harmony's location. Adam, however, refused to provide any information. Despite their attempts, the police couldn't force Adam to speak, as they didn't have a warrant. After 45 minutes of questioning with no useful answers, they had to release him. Later, on December 31, 2021, the Ninth Circuit Family Division ordered Adam to disclose Harmony's location, but he still refused to cooperate. By January 4, 2022, Adam was arrested on charges of second-degree assault, interference with custody, and child endangerment. He was then brought in for a formal interview to answer for his actions and the disturbing mystery surrounding Harmony's disappearance. Interrogation. As the investigation intensified, Adam's responses to the police became increasingly evasive. He questioned why authorities were reacting so strongly to a second-degree assault charge. Flashbangs and police chases were not typical for such charges, he argued, suggesting that something more serious was at play. The officers tried to probe further, bringing up Harmony's injuries. Adam's demeanor suggested he knew his rights well and was prepared to defend himself. When questioned about Harmony's injuries, Adam denied any knowledge. His firm denial only deepened the suspicion surrounding him. Despite years having passed since anyone last saw Harmony, Adam's refusal to provide any information only made the case more troubling. Adam's reaction to the mention of Harmony's marks was telling. He questioned the timing of these marks and pointed out that previous investigations by Child Protective Services had closed the case, indicating no significant issues were found. He claimed that DCYF had cleared his house and that the children were well cared for. Yet this only added to the mounting tension. The situation was complicated by Kevin Montgomery's statement. Adam had moved out after an argument over an unpaid electric bill, and though he claimed Kevin was spreading rumors about Harmony's abuse, Kevin's call had alerted authorities. When DCYF and police visited the Montgomery home due to the lack of electricity, they found everything in order, which added confusion to the case. Adam's attempt to deflect suspicion by blaming Kevin fell flat. The police had to work with what they had: Adam's reluctance to provide clear answers and inconsistent information from various sources. As the investigation continued, the focus shifted to Kayla's account added another layer of complexity to the case. Despite Kayla's statement, the whereabouts of Harmony remained a mystery. The investigation was far from over, and with every piece of information, the case grew more chilling. The truth about Harmony's fate was still hidden, waiting to be uncovered amidst a web of secrets and conflicting stories. Kayla's revelations. The story of Kayla and Adam's struggle began with financial hardship. Unable to keep up with mortgage payments, they were evicted from their home and had to move into their car, a Chrysler Sebring. With nowhere else to go, they parked behind Colonial Village in Manchester. As they adjusted to life in the car, their daily struggles became more evident. Kayla described how their life deteriorated further. Harmony, who was supposed to be potty trained, began having frequent accidents in the car. She wouldn't let anyone know when she needed to go, leading to constant messes in the vehicle. Harmony's accidents became a regular occurrence, and as time passed, they happened more often. Adam's reaction to these accidents was harsh and unforgiving. He would get angry and physically punish Harmony for her mishaps. Kayla revealed that his smacks were painful and stung, leaving Harmony in tears. The punishment escalated with each accident, creating a cycle of fear and pain for the little girl. The situation reached a horrifying climax on December 7, 2019. Kayla recounted a day that would haunt everyone involved. On their way from Habit Opco to Burger King, Adam's anger flared up over Harmony's continued accidents. He began hitting her repeatedly, leaving Harmony in distress. She made a strange moaning and crying noise, a sound that Kayla described as eerie and painful. In a desperate attempt to intervene, Kayla raised her arm and pleaded with Adam to stop. But the look Adam gave her was menacing, and she felt paralyzed by fear. Despite her efforts, Adam's rage continued, and Harmony's condition worsened. After the brutal incident, Kayla tried to care for Harmony by placing food beside her. But Harmony was unresponsive, having already passed away. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Adam and Kayla drove away from Colonial Village, their actions sealing Harmony's fate. Looking for shelter, authorities found themselves piecing together a disturbing sequence of events that revealed a horrifying truth. It all started with a seemingly ordinary departure from the Colonial Village parking lot. The family had left the lot, heading towards WS Elm Street. However, what was supposed to be a routine drive took a nightmarish turn. The family ended up abandoning their car and getting out, but by then Harmony had already passed away under tragic and suspicious circumstances. The disturbing revelations emerged as investigators delved into the details of what happened next. A critical piece of evidence was a duffel bag discovered in the trunk of the car. This duffel bag, which had previously been used to pack clothes when the family was evicted, had now become a vessel for something far more sinister. Kayla, a key witness, provided a harrowing account, confirming that she had seen Harmony's body being placed into this very duffel bag. In the aftermath, the couple, visibly distressed and in a state of confusion, walked to their friend Anthony's place. Anthony, oblivious to the true nature of the situation, drove them back to retrieve their remaining belongings from the car before it was towed away. For the next few days, the family camped out in Anthony's car, a temporary refuge as they waited. During this time, the duffel bag containing Harmony's body remained in the trunk, concealed from view. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that interviewing Anthony was crucial. His testimony could provide key insights into the events that led to Harmony's tragic fate. The details uncovered through these interviews were essential to understanding the full scope of the family's actions and the horrifying reality of what happened. More testimonies. During a testimony, it was revealed that the witness had sold drugs to Adam Montgomery. This detail became crucial when it was explained why this time frame stood out. The witness had provided shelter in his vehicle for Adam Montgomery, Kayla, and their 2 boys. The situation became even more complex when the witness was asked about Harmony Montgomery's whereabouts during this period. He admitted he didn't know where Harmony was while they stayed in his vehicle. It was clear that Harmony was not with the family at that time. After saying goodbye to the witness, the couple sought refuge at Kayla's mother's place. This move marked another chapter in the unfolding story, raising more questions about the circumstances leading up to Harmony's tragic fate. As the investigation intensified, police began closing in on the traces left by the couple. This led to a crucial interview with Christina Lubin, Kayla's mother. During the second round of questioning, the focus was on the period when the couple was staying with her, but without Harmony. The police asked Christina if she inquired about Harmony's whereabouts. Christina clarified that she had asked Kayla about Harmony, not Adam. The couple's stay at Christina's place lasted for a couple of weeks. During this time, the duffel bag containing Harmony's body was not in plain sight. Instead, Adam had kept it in a freezer and later moved it to the hallway of the apartment complex. This new detail about the duffel bag's location provided crucial insight into the couple's attempts to conceal their actions and added another layer to the disturbing story unfolding around Harmony's tragic fate. One step ahead. On December 30th, 2019, Adam and his partner, Kayla, moved out, leaving a trail that the police were determined to follow. They tracked the couple to Christina's apartment, only to find that the duffel bag they had been searching for was gone. The cooler, which had been used by the couple, was now empty. The police had it tested at the state lab, but no evidence or blood samples were found. Meanwhile, Adam and his family had moved into a transitional house. He had hidden the duffel bag inside the ceiling vent. However, as time passed and Harmony's body decomposed, the smell became unbearable. The duffel bag began to leak, prompting Adam to place it in a garbage bag, but the odor persisted. Soon, neighbors complained about the stench, leading the maintenance department to suspect an animal might have died in the vent. This prompted investigators to examine the area, but by then, Adam and Christina had already left. The investigators discovered Adam's fingerprints throughout the room, along with a large blood stain and human decomposition fluid in the vents. It was clear Harmony was dead. The search continued, and the couple found themselves in an apartment on Union Street. Adam moved Harmony's body to a refrigerator, packing it in a trash bag. The bag still leaked, so Adam took it to his job as a dishwasher and cook at a restaurant, hiding it in a walk-in freezer. His colleagues saw him carrying the duffel bag and placing it in the freezer, but no one suspected it contained a body. As the situation grew more dire, Adam struggled to maintain his cover. He resorted to increasingly sinister measures to keep the horrifying secret hidden, dismembering the body. Adam's chilling plans for dismembering his daughter, Harmony, came into sharp focus as details of his horrifying intentions emerged. He talked about cutting her into pieces to dispose of her body and even discussed using a saw and lime to accelerate decomposition. Just imagine a father plotting such grotesque acts against his own child. The situation worsened when Adam and his partner Kayla's bank records revealed a purchase of limestone and a power grinder from Home Depot. This grim evidence pointed to Adam's preparations for his horrific plans. At the same time, he had started running hot water in the bathtub while Harmony's body was kept in a freezer. The bathtub became clogged, prompting him to call a maintenance worker. When the worker arrived, he discovered that the drain had been tampered with and that a new unhooked plate was installed. The police later obtained a search warrant for Adam and Kayla's apartment, seizing the refrigerator, which was then tested for blood samples. Unfortunately, the samples were too degraded to provide conclusive results. As the investigation closed in, Adam and Kayla moved to a hotel, keeping Harmony's body in a mini fridge. Realizing the situation was becoming increasingly perilous, Travis initially avoided the interview but eventually spoke up with his attorney present. Travis recalled Adam's distressed behavior, repeatedly saying he messed up while pacing outside. Despite the clear signs of Adam's turmoil, Travis had assumed the move was related to ongoing problems with DCYF, not realizing the full extent of the situation. Adam returned to the hotel with a grim message for Kayla. "It's done. The end of an evil." As the investigation progressed, detectives focused on a U-Haul truck previously owned by Adam Montgomery. Although the truck had been sold, the new owner cooperated and allowed the police to search it. Inside, they discovered something chilling: blood samples from various areas within the van. Detectives then turned their attention to a nearby hotel room, where they collected additional blood samples from the walls and fixtures. Testing these samples revealed they matched Harmony's DNA. By August 11, 2022, the case took a dark turn when Kayla, Adam's estranged wife, confessed in court. Harmony's disappearance was officially declared a homicide. For nearly 2 years, Adam had hidden the horrifying truth, carrying his daughter's remains while pretending everything was normal. Despite extensive searches, Harmony's body was never found. On October 24, 2022, Adam Montgomery was finally arrested. In court, he tried to distance himself from the case, claiming he was not guilty and insisting that any evidence against him was false. He expressed hope for his trial, intending to challenge the accusations. The sentence. In a dramatic turn, on November 28, 2022, Kayla pleaded guilty to 2 felony perjury charges and agreed to testify against Adam. She revealed the abusive nature of their relationship, providing a disturbing account of the events leading up to Harmony's death. The courtroom was left grappling with the heartbreaking details of a case that shook everyone involved. Adam Montgomery's trial began on February 8, 2024, in Hillsborough County. The prosecution introduced Rebecca Maines, a key witness who revealed Adam's deep resentment toward his daughter, Harmony, due to her resemblance to Harmony's mother, Crystal. This animosity was a significant factor in his actions. On February 22, 2024, Adam was convicted of second-degree murder and falsifying evidence. He was sentenced on May 9, 2024, to 45 years to life in prison, to be served alongside a separate sentence for weapon charges. Although the case has ended, the disturbing acts committed by Adam Montgomery will never be forgotten. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe for more crime stories.